So one of the biggest downers of this offseason was Darius Robinson getting hurt, and it turns out maybe not as damaging as it could have been at first. You don't know, right? You're thinking maybe this guy's out for the year, he's out for half the year, whatever. It sounds like he's just on short-term IR, so he'll play at some point. We don't know exactly when yet, but let's just start there because I know that you've liked the way Darius Robinson has approached things. It's very easy to get on board with not only rooting for this guy, but also just kind of wanting to see what he can do on the field.
Right, and he's one of those players that could be a game changer in terms of helping this defense and ultimately these teams win games because he's a big body, aggressive, is very flexible as far as where you can line him up on the defensive line. And so that's a young guy that you really want out there because eager, doing things the right way. And I think that's a guy, or at least I know it's a guy that they want to really build this culture around like they have been in the last couple of years as far as how they've drafted guys. When you think about just professional, high-end character, talented football players, and to be able to build their football team around those type of guys is going to be a delay just a little bit, but obviously once he gets back out there, want to make sure that he's 100% because you never want to start your career off kind of hampered, right? Again, he doesn't know what that feels like, never played in the NFL, and he doesn't have that experience yet, so we don't want to put him out there at the beginning to start. We want to build great confidence because at the end of the day, that's going to allow him to then continue to grow and become the player that we think he can be.
So Xavier Thomas has had a very, very good preseason. This young guy, this rookie, Xavier Thomas. What's going to be the biggest challenge for him in terms of getting better as the season unfolds?
It's a lot of things, and I don't know his mental makeup, but it's really studying who you're going to be going against week to week and how they're going to be utilizing him. So, are they going to be moving him left to right, or are they going to keep him on one side?
What would you do on that, though? What would you do in terms of trying to integrate this guy into your defense?
Base defense, first, second down, you just run to whatever you have, right? So if he's the strong side, outside backer, the weak side inside backer, you make a strong call and he always goes to the strong call, or you make a strong call and he goes weak, right? I would keep that the way it is. That doesn't matter as much. But on third down, I would, again, when you're dealing with younger players, he should have an understanding, hey, you're going to be playing right in when you go in the game, when you sub in. And so all I'm really doing is studying that left tackle or that right tackle.
Okay.
So I can develop a plan just for him. So when I have that opportunity, because, right, they're going to be limited when you get those third down rushes, depending on how they decide to rotate, I know what I want to go to. And I've been watching him. I'm on the sideline. I only got to watch that one guy. Okay, when I get in, I'm about to use this move because whoever in front of me has also been setting him up, trying to do something. So let me utilize that. So you simplify the game for younger players versus saying, hey, you may line up at right end, left end, and we may have a little package for you. But, man, I got to worry about 3 different offensive linemen and what they do differently. You can really hurt a younger guy when you do that. So simplify it, put him on one side, so then he gets comfortable. And most pass rushers turn the corner better one way. They have a better get off on one side.
Yep.
And so you want to allow him to grow in that confidence again while he's working on maybe some of those other weaknesses. So if he's great off getting on the right side, and while he's progressing on the right side, let him get some reps in practice on the other side so he's growing and trying to bring him up to equal. So then by the end of the season, oh, yeah, Xavier, you can move anywhere you need to, but we built it off of a confident starting point.
Right.
You look at this defense, and I feel like I have felt this way, that they have the pieces to maybe surprise some people. But now they've lost B.J. Ojulari for the year, and they've lost Darius Robinson for at least the first 4 games. Now, Darius Robinson hasn't done it in the NFL. I get that. But, and B.J. Ojulari hasn't played much in the NFL, but those are still 2 guys you were counting on.
Right.
So, Zoe, if you're on this team and you're looking, okay, first 4 weeks at least you're down those guys, do you see enough guys on this defense that can keep them in? Because those first 3 games are Buffalo, the Rams, and the Lions. Those are not easy offenses to go up against.
Right. It comes down to, first, stopping the run and making the game one-dimensional. And I think they have enough guys up front. When you think about the guys that are big and beefy up front, that, like I've been saying this whole really training camp, there's a significant size difference from the line. So if they can stop the run and make teams one-dimensional, that's the first thing you have to do when you're down talent, right? Because you may not have the guy that can get you out of jams if it's 3rd and 6. Do they have a pass rusher that's going to win right now on this roster that's proven over and over again? Maybe not. Maybe Dennis, right? He's the most consistent one as far as getting sacks. But they don't have that guy where nationally it's like, oh, yeah, they got him. We got him. So you got to put him in third or longer situations that allows the coverage and hold their shell and their looks where you don't have to necessarily play man. And then from a schematic standpoint, how are they going to defensively create one-on-one matchups, right? The elite players can beat double teams and chips. But when you are down a little bit in talent, you want to try to figure out defensively, how can I create the one-on-one matchups with our top-tier guys or the guys that we think are the best as far as in those one-on-one situations, and then they have to go down and beat their man one-on-one. There's not too many blitzes in this league where you're just going to have guys running free and getting free sacks, right? Quarterbacks and the way you scheme stuff, you just know where it's going to go. The ball is out of your hands for most quarterbacks, and especially the tier quarterbacks they'll be playing this season will know where to get the ball when you're blitzing. But from a coordinator standpoint, if you can create one-on-ones, which they did really well in Philly, right, a couple of years ago while they were winning, they had dogs all the way across, and they were just one-on-one, and they would beat them, and that's why they had so many sacks.
Just better than.
Because they was better than, but the defense dictated that you had to block these guys one-on-one. And so if he can do that with a couple of guys, free some guys up, one-on-one blocks, then those guys at that point have to have that talent over a course of a game to be able to beat them, hit guys, get hit on the quarterback. Right? You don't always have to sack him, but make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket to where he's just not hitting back foot and throwing the ball.
Yeah, JG being in Philadelphia, man,
where
you could just
nice
rush
to build
4
that.
and drop 7. That's what he did an awful lot. And those 4 skulls were just better than the 5 skulls trying to block him.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.